set. Like there's so much there to explore that I feel like is very underexplored.
And it changes all the time, right? Like, like every like 5 years ago when I first went to DCL, it was so different than now. And like all the builds, it's like a regular city. It's always changing. New things are up. So like whatever you shoot now won't be there necessarily. Usually, it could be a week, could be a year. Or,
yeah, exactly. Totally. I actually was just about to start, just for no like real intention other than kind of like journaling almost, but I was gonna just record myself wandering through different virtual worlds for like half an hour and just saving the video somewhere.
Oh, I love that.
Like posting it to YouTube or something. But like because of that reason, there's subtleties in some of them where like not all the plots change, but sometimes just the graphics are updated, and I don't know, the poly count changes, or I don't know, just even in DCL, like when I went into this last night to walk around, I was like, oh, they've done some updates here that make it look a little cooler. Like this is nice.
Totally. That's how I mean, like back in the day when I first started, I don't know if you knew the Decentraland reporter, Kevin on Earth. Did you ever hear of him or do anything with him?
I was so familiar. I don't think I ever worked with this person.
Yeah, like he just had like a crew of volunteer, reporters, and I was one of them. And that's what I did for like a year before I even started doing stuff with the DAO. And it was like my excuse to go up to random people that I thought were cool. Like, hey, can I interview you? And you talk about your build, and like 99.9% of those builds are gone. I don't even think anything is left, and I it's all on YouTube. A lot of them didn't make it to YouTube. They made it on his channel. But like, just like what you're saying, I want to like start gathering, like this is like historical, like footage, like.
Yeah. It's like, these early builds are, I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about this, but this is why like interop is so important because of like preservation.
Totally. Exactly. And yeah.
Worlds change.
Yep, the world in general. That's the only constant, right? The only constant is change. Yeah. You could try to hold on. It's just going to be a lot more of a miserable journey if you just like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Exactly.
It's like the story of my life lately. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, but might as well try to enjoy the ride of madness and like uncertainty and like chaos. And the other day someone asked, what do you do? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea what I do, to be honest.
I don't know anymore.
I like being with nice people doing cool shit if I can. And,
exactly.
I don't know what label. And, but yeah.
Well, like your work in, I mean, I know you do a lot in the education realm in real life and in the arts. And I think that's like so important. And that's something with this where I feel like, I was so close to doing a metaverse like architecture course for real.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And it just like there should be more of that.
You need to do that. You of all people, I would sit there front row, like with my 50 page, like hundreds of pages of notes. My note taking is usually mad chaos, but yeah, because I remember your videos, like I was going to bring that up later, like your cool series that you did with vertical crypto art. Well, that was a while ago, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, that feels like eons.
Yeah,
that was so important, and it just disappeared.
Is it still up though, or no?
Yeah, the videos. I believe all the videos are up somewhere on YouTube. But the like incubator, the course itself, which I thought was so important, it's just. I mean, I get it. It's hard to monetize. It's hard to like do anything sustainably. And Tezos had given, I believe Tezos was a big supporter of it, but not in a sustainable way. It just wasn't enough. I know Nicole was trying to get investment for it.
Yeah.
I don't ultimately know what happened, honestly, but it just kind of faded.
Oh, it was so cool. Yeah. Like I watched whenever I could, because some of them were like, not all of them were public, and I never made it into one of those cohorts, or I always would find about it too late to join, but I love, those were great videos. We have to find them, and I'll definitely add them in the description link, because I learned so much from that. They're excellent. Did you watch them, Rizzle?
Dude, I watched some of them. Nicole's such a boss. Like, she was doing that so
Yeah.
early, and I've like often thought of her periodically just because she had such a huge impact on the space, and I haven't like seen much from her. And I usually blame that on the algorithm. So I've been like, just sort of wondering if she just sort of fell off my radar in that way or whatever. It's a shame to hear stuff like that just sort of have to go by the wayside. And honestly, I've been thinking about that a lot too. Recently, just like it just seems like this has been such a tough slog for so many people who thought they were building sustainable things like early on, and the market just really never cooperated in the way that people thought they were going to, even like some of the most like well prepared people and projects and everything out there. And so it's tough to see stuff like that, like like Untitled said, it's tough to monetize, but stuff like that is also like so important in being able to monetize down the line. Like, I don't know. I feel like we've sort of lost some like collective momentum with like a lot of these projects that like, had some runway and were really good and well run and affected a lot of people really well. And I don't know. I'm interested to hear like Untitled's take, like just on the space overall, and the metaverse space is like someone who's been like real niche in the weeds with interop and Museum of Crypto Art and like all this shit for such a long time.
And we're slogging. That's such a good word for it, because it's just in the middle of the slog, trying to stay up, man. It's so difficult, and it's hard, but it's something that, in the volatility of the space, it's so hard to build a business model, or at least one that people are willing to like really support for the long haul. When there's so many metas, there's so much change. It's just one of those things where it's like, actually, it's not one of those things. I don't really know of another industry that is this chaotic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're the three of us. Hey, we're all here. We're still here, slugging.
I know. Sometimes I'm just like want to run away and never look, and then like an hour later, I just find myself down the rabbit hole of like, well, this is still really cool, or like, I think that's why like trying to teach and show and all the challenges that come to that. Like right now, I've been doing this pilot program with 3 teachers in Hawaii through the STEMworks program, and like it's been really amazing. Like they're in love with it, but then there's also the issues of things not working necessarily, all the restrictions within the education department, what's allowed, what's not allowed. And so I'm trying to like work within like, oh, you can't do this, 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 this. We can do this, but only on these days when the stars like this and the moon lies. You're like, fuck. Like how to work within those systems, but also it gives you this encouragement of like, oh wow, people there's so many people have no idea what's going on in these spaces still. And even with everyone hating on the metaverse, the idea, teachers and kids freaking love it.
Totally. No. Yeah. Go ahead, Rizzle. Sorry.
No, I'll keep it brief because I'm interested to hear what you have to say too. Like, but I feel like for a lot of us, and including I'm sure the 3 of us, and I think this is where the stickiness doesn't really go anywhere. Is like it really is like a great creative outlet. Like a lot of the stuff that we have built is possible to be built, and the way the Web3 metaverse just sort of lends itself to interoperability and being able to like build things that weren't really even possible before. And it feels like there was just like a lot of like collective momentum in the beginning. Like hell yeah, we're like building this thing together. And honestly, we have been, and it's really come a long way. But it does feel like that momentum has slowed down. Because I think money got involved, and people thought again it was going to become an industry that just hasn't really materialized yet. But I don't know. What's your take on Untitled?
Yeah, I think a lot of it had a weird false start in my eyes with the kind of metaverse land model, because it set an impression, I think, that all these worlds were buy-in models. They were very expensive pretty quickly because of the way that the price just skyrocketed. But they weren't ever treated like here's my problem with the metaverse land model. They never treated it like actual land. Like if they actually used Like if they had property taxes, or if they had like public utilities that were more upgradable, could be shared, more of a cooperative neighborhood model, or even an HOA model.
Yeah.
Like there was no deep experimentation in that way because I think the tech wasn't quite ready. It might be now, honestly, but like you couldn't take a loan. Oh, you could in some, I think in Decentraland, you actually could at one point, but like taking loans out on your land or renting it more easily. There were rentals, but it just felt like it was the billboard that the metaverse put out a few years ago was like, buy into this world. And it wasn't create in this world. So all the speculation made that the centerpiece. It made that the headline, like X land sells for this amount, and not what was built on it. And that was kind of like a reverse, I think, of what should have happened. But I feel like it's going. Look, I mean, I think a lot of us know, a lot of us in this crowd or who will be listening to this, I think will agree that, the end state of the internet is not this flat 2D scrolling Twitter page. It's going to be immersive. So it's just a matter of how many iterations it'll take for us to get there. Like what will be sticky and what will be equitable. Like I think that's ultimately where we'll end up.
I agree completely. And I, just sort of, it feels, I think the three of us sort of have like the same general collective vision of like how the internet like shakes out and, or at least can shake out to like a lot of people, more immersive experiences and seamless experiences and everything. And it just, what was I trying to say? It felt like, I don't know, direction for a long time. And now I think we're really the adage that progress is not a straight line is like, we've all been here like in the weeds this entire time. And I think we're seeing progress not like go in a straight line.
Yeah, not at all.
Really on like one of those downswings or something.
Backwards.
But, right. But it does seem like, again, like we're all like, out here in the metaverse, Decentraland, crypto voxels, that was basically it, like early on. And even just those platforms, if you look at them and the experiences and everything, everything's come a long way. But like, again, it just seemed like the momentum for a minute there was just going to keep building and building and building. And now it seems like there's been a few resets where you sort of look around and it's like, oh shit, everyone left again. It's, me, Untitled, and Fractilians.
Yeah, it's, who are these weirdos that are still like wandering around? Oh man. But honestly, like it's very bizarre. But I just can't, I don't know. We've taken both pills. We're too far down the rabbit hole. I feel like. It's just
I agree. I think that's a good way to put it. It's like the minute I try to escape the rabbit hole, I find another one, and it's like I guess I'm still in the black hole here. Like I might as well keep exploring and building and sharing. And I try not to tell anybody I work in Web3 though. I just say I work with computers, and that shuts them up. Like they're like, oh, computers. That could be anything.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's so funny. I just try to avoid conversations.
Yeah.
Don't even. No, it's always funny because what we do and the worlds we're in, it's just so bizarre by comparison.
No, definitely.
It's cool. We got some people coming in with like some nice holiday gear.
Oh yeah, some nice Halloween. Yeah, hop in if you can.
Let's go over to room spot.
Yeah,
yeah. So this is like the kind of shit like. So rooms as a project was launched quite a while ago, and I know it's been built upon, and also the tech has sort of caught up to the project in a lot of ways. It was ahead of its time in the sense that like as time has gone on, you can use them in more and more places and everything. But this is the kind of shit that I feel it's difficult to explain to someone who doesn't understand anything about what we're doing, how important stuff like this is. But people who do, once they get it, they're like, oh, this is stuff like this is like a fundamental backbone of like, the technology and where it's headed and everything. And it doesn't get enough attention. So this is cool. And I don't want to like steal your thunder, man. So talk to us about this project and where it started and like where it's at now. And you want me to run around in there for
I think that would be great.
Share.
Yeah, let's have you screen share. I was just going to ask that. And then it's rooms.dcl.eth, right? It's ROMS.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to type it here in the chat. So everybody in the chat, if you want to come over and jump over to, actually now my mouse isn't working. There it is. I'm going to put it in the chat so everyone can see it and join. Then yeah, if you can screen share, Rizzle, that'd be great. And I'll just keep sharing it here if anyone just wants to hang out. Oh, I see Untitled. There you are. I like your artistic black outfit. That's usually what I wear in real life. Just like black.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go pretty much with what I wear.
Yeah, that's.
I got my lightning bolt. I got my eyes look pretty much like this now. They're just kind of.
Oh, I like that. It looks like what's it called? Rez. Have you heard of Rez, the artist? Super deep bass, awesome electronic.
Ooh, no,
she has these glasses, and that's what it looks like. She wears these glasses, and that's what her renowned signature. I'm like, you're a Rez fan unknowingly. Okay, let me stop my stream, and then I can share yours. And then you can watch the good thing is you can watch the stream here, and then unless you want to jump in there too. Let me make this screen bigger so everyone can watch. Okay.
This is actually like not too far away from how I dress in real life too. Mostly pajamas. I do not have a tiger suit, but DCL hooked me up.
I think you will have a tiger suit one day.
IRL DCL tiger suit.
Okay.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Sick. So cool. Would you guys prefer? Do you want me in the crowd? Do you want me walking around with Rizzle? What would be
whatever you guys want? I'm gonna just share. Everyone here. I'm gonna
come in here with me, man. Give me a tour.
Yeah, so everybody watching, if you want to jump into the build that just went live, I think yesterday, it's rooms.dcl.eth. I put it here in the chat. You guys can jump in or just watch from here. Okay, I'll shut up now.
All right, let's see. While I'm gonna get jumped over here. Let's see. Rizzle, man, that was such a nice summary of rooms, and so I like for those who don't know, I'm Untitled.xyz. I'm an architect and director of architecture at MOCA, the Museum of Crypto Art, where this is actually now, Rooms has been going on for 3 years.
Wow.
We've been minting rooms for 3 years, and you guys get the exclusive on this. The final room has been minted, and it was minted last night.
Woo!
So we are capped at. I minted a whole bunch to kind of fulfill the final amount that we needed to send to folks who got passes early on. We have 191 rooms, and
awesome.
We've been building it now for 4 years, and it was originally really around this idea of interoperability and that the metaverse is this kind of constellation of worlds. It's not a singular world, but much like us as we navigate them, we need museums that are portable like we are. We need to be able to kind of move around fluidly with objects that kind of follow us in a way. And if we want to exhibit our art collections that we have, we need these kind of like artifacts to be able to host them and explore the worlds just as we do. So Rooms was kind of this conceptual project really early on that was about, well, what does a decentralized museum look like? And we had thought, well, it looks a lot like, a series of rooms, all these different rooms that are of different flavors, different styles, can host different artworks, but they're also owned and curated by different people. So the idea is that each of these kind of sculptural, architectural things each of them is an NFT, but each of them can also be outfitted with artwork, and that becomes part of its metadata. And there's some really cool things kind of behind the scenes that work with that. But yeah, so Rooms it's been a labor of love for like the last few years. We've had exhibits with them throughout, you know, originally in Somnium Space and Decentraland and Hyperfi and all over the place. We've kind of traveled with these things, and it's been fun to kind of, they're like these little spaceships that have traveled the metaverse with us. As you know, as MOCA, we've tried to figure out what all this is. You know, what are we doing here, and what are these worlds, and how do they relate to art? I'm gonna hop in now. It took me a minute to find my link. There we go. But yeah, Rizzle is running around like I'm gonna try to find you. Which one are you in right now?
I went to the one that kind of looks like half an Easter egg.
There you go. Oh yeah, that one's
so
fun.
Say more. So this is like the type of shit, man, that I'm like, people need to know. People need to know, man.
I know.
Talk to people about like the NFT metadata and the traveling museum, and how, because this is different than just like having a GLB that you're able to drag across like, you know, different metaverse platforms and everything, which is pretty dope in itself. And that was something that wasn't very streamlined or easy until not too long ago. So, but this is like, honestly, several steps beyond that, to be quite honest. I think we see iterations of things that don't come close to this for a while.
I mean, from a technical side, these things they're like smart objects. And full credit goes to like Quell Code and Renee, if you guys know Renee. He really designed a lot of this stuff he's such an on-chain maxi. Like, he loves, especially with the museum, us finding ways of recording what we do and making it, you know, permissionless, making it all as much on-chain as we can. And so what happens with these objects is we have this curation system where when you basically load NFTs into the 3D object itself, we call them slots. So in these slots, you can insert an artwork. And if you save it, you're signing a transaction that loads all of the metadata of that NFT and pairs it with the room itself. And so you have kind of a basically historical record of curation that has happened within these buildings.
That's awesome.
So it's very like everything we do is very much thinking about, all right, what is a museum in this context? So for us, we actually have almost like a Wayback Machine of looking at. I'll post it somewhere here. Let's see. But there's a very cool app that will show you. Let me track it down. But it shows you basically the history of every room. So you can look up the history of what's been curated in there by who, at what point in time. It's meant to show you the trends and the kind of like, you know, changes of taste over time and things like that. So certainly we did all this stuff and like nobody was interested.
This is awesome.
There were like dozens of us. Very excited about it.
We'll add two more to the pile.
Story of our life. Yeah. Like story of our life, right? And it's just one of those things where I think it was a little bit ahead of the times. People weren't looking for smart 3D objects that were kind of permissionless in virtual worlds. They were looking for, you know, people would come to me during the metaverse hype and be like, can you put my mansion in the metaverse? Can you like design it exactly as it is? And cool? And I'm like, no, man, that is so boring. And I really stopped doing commissions for people at a certain point because it was just like I was getting stuff like that too much or too often, and it was demoralizing in a way. But yeah, with MOCA, we've just been cranking along with this stuff for years, and I feel like, you know, we're finally at a point too where I think with AI, we're coming to a point where the tools are coming together and it feels like we're really able to kind of release a decentralized museum. Excuse me. And I think, you know, this is what I'm building in this space is going to be an exhibit of that. We're going to be able to see what, we're going to be able to look around these walls and see what's installed on them. And it's a fun experiment. It's a fun demo of, I think, what we really want that, decentralized museum to be.
Dude, so what's the process, right? So like these obviously don't have, and I am sort of aware of the process. So I'm like, sort of throwing you a softball here so you can explain to people who are listening and everything. But looking at these here, they don't have any art hung on them at the moment. But there's got to be some sort of like central location or something where you update the metadata of these things so that when you pull them into wherever you're pulling them into, they come like preloaded with the art. Like this one looks like an elephant, right? If I wanted to like put elephant art all over this thing and then just drag it in, has all the elephant art all over it already. That's basically the gist of it, right? And when you're talking about like the smart objects, and you can sort of load these things up in whatever way you want, and then they're loaded up.
Right. Yeah. So what we have now is we actually have an older app here. If you go to rooms.museumofcryptoart.com, you can actually outfit these spaces. You can fit in the slots with different artwork, either from our collection, the museum collection, or your own. And we're building a new system now that allows you to do that more fluidly. It's going to be a lot easier. But this is the kind of legacy system. It's still there if anyone wants to explore it. This is the kind of V1 of Rooms in a way. But so, yeah, you would basically be able to look into your wallet and then drag and drop different works into these rooms. And then what was cool about that was because these were all kind of permissionlessly stored in the metadata, we built an app in Hyperfy actually first, which allowed us to call that metadata and spawn the room. So you could update them in the rooms.museumofcryptoart.com app. And whatever you would update in the app would automatically reload and spawn in wherever you placed it in Hyperfy. So the idea was like, I was really into this idea of streamable architecture, like streamable museums, that if you updated it in one place, it would broadcast across all these different corners of the metaverse. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm right now on that page. It's so cool. I'm just scrolling through there. It's the rooms.museumcryptoart.com, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, cool. I'm just sharing it.
Go there. Yeah, check it out. Explore around. You can, I believe there's a playground, so you can click on one of these rooms that are in the playground and then outfit it with art that you want, and you can even download it because most of these, all of them that I've done are CC0. So the hope is that people can take them and build with them what they like without restriction.
There's so many beautiful ones in here. So like the tools that you currently use for developing the different AI like tools, what is your preferred process, or are you always experimenting?
Always experimenting. With these particular ones that are in Decentraland, these were built, I started on these, gosh, when was this? I guess earlier this year. And these are all AI generated using, I use Comfy UI and have this system, this model called Trellis, which is an open source kind of 3D generative model. And what you can do is basically prompt into 3D objects. It goes through a series of images first. But to me, I've been like really experimenting a lot with prompting 3D objects for a while. And basically a year ago this time, there was this model called CRM that was way before Trellis. In CRM, you could get these very like goopy architecture. It was solid. It was very like, it was very sloppy looking and kind of drippy. And I loved that aesthetic as soon as I started experimenting with it. I thought it was really like raw and of the kind of generative 3D world. It felt like those early slop videos of AI where it's just very goopy, but it was in 3D. So I've been playing around with like building, using my own PC here to kind of generate these things all locally. And I really got into Trellis, which was accessible at the time. and one of the few models that was like generating a little bit more detail, but it was still had that kind of like sloppy, drippy style. And so I really just embraced that. I wanted these, especially this style of museum design. I was like, okay, let's embrace the slop. I initially called these sloppitecture pieces.
I like that.
Because they're all goopy and they're all kind of like, weird. And I just love that. I thought it was so interesting, and especially generating them and then dragging them into Decentraland or Hyperfi or another world. Like you could really explore them and see these like nuances in the textures, in the shapes, in the mesh. So all of these I generated locally, and it was very much like, in my eyes, it's like a snapshot of how generative AI has kind of unfolded. Now it's now the quality is insane. Like you can really, like I'm sure you guys know, with Meshy, you can do things that are just really accessible.
That's wild.
And so detailed. And that just wasn't there like a year ago.
Yeah.
So when these first started, this was kind of, in my mind, it was like the peak of, like I tried using the most bleeding edge stuff that I could get my hands on. And yeah, this is, so to me, like, I love that these are NFTs because they're kind of a snapshot in time. And yeah, I think they just sort of reflect the moment in a way, but this was my first real foray into like designing museum spaces with AI and really letting the models kind of take the driver seat. Like I wanted to make things that were kind of natural to the models and not force feed it my typical kind of like square staircases, very rectilinear structures. I did that at first, but it kept giving me this stuff. So I was like, okay, that's like we're having an argument here, but this is what we've come up with. And I love that. I thought that was cool.
Dude, I really love that too. In early AI image generation days, like early-ish, I cranked out a ton of stuff on 0.1 just for fun and to put stuff out there. And it was all not exactly what I wanted it to be, but that was what made it fascinating to me, was that like, okay, this is like a very early model and we can all see where AI is going, and now it's like so good, right? If you like type anything into it, you can get a really great image that's like almost exactly what you want if you know how to prompt. And Fractillions has actually helped me refine that process and everything, but early on you just sort of had to roll with like what it gave you, and there were some limitations in terms of how sophisticated of a prompt you could give it and count on it to give you anything remotely like it back and everything. And that was all like really fun for me. I felt like it was like sort of like, like an interesting conversation with the machine. I'm like, I'm telling you this, I have this in my head. So see what you give me back. And I don't know, I that was a really fun time period of that emerging tech.
Yeah, like I think that there's a level of discovery there, right? That I think is a lot more, in a way, a lot more exciting than what we have now, which is right now it's becoming like, oh, I'll just make you anything you say explicitly. But before it was kind of a negotiation. And
that's a great way of putting it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. You're like honestly, I felt like I was arguing with like if I had an architecture studio and I have this intern, like, can you make a cube? Oh yeah, here's a cube. And it's like, what the hell is that? And it's like, oh, that's all I can do. And you're like, all right. So that's kind of where I was like, all right, well, if you can do that, then let's go for it. Like let's make some weird looking cubes, and these are weird looking cubes. So
great.
But yeah, it's so, I think that time period, which was short lived in a lot of ways, it was so fascinating. And now I think it's going to get increasingly weirder because it's just it's getting so accurate.
Yeah, some of the stuff it's generating, it's like, I just, like, even, that one thing I said, oh, this should be a song. I made like a funny, crazy song out of that. Hey, let's make this a song, the nerd interop thing, that line. So I went down the rabbit hole after that for an hour, and I'm like, oh shit, the workshop's about to start. I have to go. But like, it's amazing where it leads you. Like, you get started with these ideas, and I mean, it does give you way more specific, but then like the other, I love the ideas I get from the ideas it gives me, you know, and like what possibilities can come out of that.
That's the thing. I think that's so critical too, is remaining like a lot of there's a lot of discussion now, obviously, around like AI kind of delivering this to your brain in terms of a creative process. And I think there are ways around that. You just can't use it so kind of one-to-one, you know. You can't open it up, demand a thing, and then just be satisfied with what it gives you. You have to like understand, you have to dig further, you have to embrace the rabbit hole and go for it. And then I think you get really, and like some of this stuff, some of these builds are like, I think they're really beautiful virtually. They're really interesting, and it makes for like the whole point of this was really like, let's build a gallery that is the antithesis of a white wall square gallery. Like, you know, let's show art on the ceiling, let's show art on the floor, let's show it hovering in the air. Like, we shouldn't be so restricted to replicating like boring white walls in the metaverse. Like, let's go nuts. But yeah, to your point, like it's so the whole, I really need to like write about this more, but the process of diving into this stuff has been so enlightening for me, and scary and exciting. I don't know.
Yeah, right now I'm actually just taking pictures of it. I'm about to put it into AI and see and add it to our storyline that I was telling you about. I was telling him about our horror movie campfire that will come together at some point, but right now it's in the nebulous, exactly the nebulous space you're talking about. We don't really know what we're doing, but we kind of do. But if we give it too much structure, it kills the spirit of it. That's kind of how I think maybe we both see it, Rizzle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna fit it together somehow. No, I think we're doing a thing too. Like, we're using these rooms as a different medium in our art project or whatever, and that's sort of the idea of or in the spirit of these things in the first place and everything. So yeah, I'm actually very interested to see what AI turns out in terms of like some of the videos and pictures that I'm taking and everything. Untitled, what do you feel like is missing? I feel like we collectively Web3 metaverse enthusiasts, we're like, there's some dot that's not connecting. Like, what are we missing for this? Because this, you're preaching to the choir, right? This shit is cool. You can see like the long-term applications of this. You can tell we're like definitely not there yet in terms of like people outside of our sphere being able to like really understand like, how cool this is and how important this is. There's like a lot of like, consumer education, user education, blah, blah, blah. If you go too far outside the pocket here. But what are we like, what do we need to do, man, to get this shit like, in front of more people? What's missing here?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it, like we were talking a little bit earlier about volatility. I think the volatility is kind of like, it's like a medium in and of itself. And I think it's wildly distracting for a lot of people, like because people are chasing these metas. They view the metaverse as a meta. They view, 3D NFTs as a meta, or like, on-chain NFTs as a, like, I think a lot of what's hurt the kind of growth around this stuff is people are chasing things. Mm-hmm. And that's just a sign of the industry not being kind of like stable enough or mature enough. I think that will happen, but it really does require the kind of like underlying currencies that drive a lot of these worlds to be a little bit more predictable. And I don't know, that's kind of like, I'm not super excited about that answer because it kind of implies that Bitcoin needs to like, slow down in a way for this stuff to be adopted. But I think that's part of it. I don't think that's the whole story. I think the part of the story too is so I guess there's that. There's the volatility side of the kind of underlying crypto world. But there's also, we are trying to preach a virtual world through a 2D flat app, you know, and that is a difficult ask. It's actually probably designed to dissuade that in a way. We're trying to convince people that the metaverse is worth paying attention to, and we're doing that on a setting that is kind of like, just doesn't, it rubs it the wrong way. So I think, I feel like Twitter is a tough place right now to get new ideas out that might run against the grain. And so I think social media itself needs to kind of like have another layer of evolution here. I would think in the future that something like Twitter would be a spatial experience and not something 2D. But it might always be 2D, and then, you know, people migrate into these worlds to have more a different kind of experience. I don't know, man. That's kind of a ramble because I don't fully know what it'll take for us to get here. But I think it just feels so inevitable that this is like I've told my architecture colleagues and stuff. We should take this seriously. This is a new type of public space. It's just there aren't a lot of people in there yet, but there will be. I don't know. I definitely believe it's coming, and I think we're getting there. It's just we've had some weird growing pains along the way that are kind of unpredictable.
You've had some weird growing pains. Yeah, dude, we've had some weird. I'm interested to hear what you think too, Fractilians. We've had some weird growing pains along the way. I agree with you a lot that by nature of the Web3 aspect of this, we sort of get lumped in with like the speculation bubbles, and so attention sort of like rises and fades, and things have been built like sort of strangely because of that as well. But you know, I'm like, you know, I think about my kids are like, you know, probably in the other room. There's a snow day here. They're like playing Roblox or something in the other room, and I've like played some of these games with them. And I'm like, this shit is jank, man. And I've like said, like, I've made a lot of complaints across the board about like, you know, Web3 being jank, metaverse platforms being jank, all these experiences, how they tie together being jank. But dude, Roblox is fucking jank. And so that's not the problem. And it's not like crazy different or dissimilar to like anything of what's going on here. And my kids are like, you know, so annoyed hearing me talk about like, you know, not NFTs directly, but like basically the same thing. I'm like, you know, you can't take your shit outside of Roblox. It's stuck there, like blah, blah, blah. You don't want to spend, you know, all the stuff that we've been saying for like years and years and years. And I'm like, it doesn't seem like that far of a leap, but it also feels like a gigantic one. Like somehow we're not able to bridge this gap, even though like, objectively, if someone were to not know what I'm doing right now versus what they're doing in the other room right now, and they're to walk from that room to this room, they'd be like, oh, they're basically doing the same shit. So like, right? I'm like, I don't know. Fractilians, what do you think?
Oh, sorry, it cut out for a second on me. I was like trying to reconnect. What was the question? Oh,
just sort of like what's missing here, because it's basically like, you know, my kids are in the other room playing Roblox, and Roblox is pretty janky if you haven't messed with it, and I attributed that to be like Web3 and Metaverse's problem, but I don't really think that's it. And then I was like, if someone didn't know what I was doing or what they were doing, anything about any of this stuff, and they were to walk past my kids playing Roblox and then past me sitting here in Decentraland looking at Untitled doing the chicken dance in the background, they'd be like, oh, everyone's in this place is doing the same shit. But somehow we haven't captured that audience, like even a little bit, really. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
It just, I guess, it makes me think about just like, you know, I was mentioning earlier that pilot program with the teachers, and like the context and what they see possible. And it's been, I mean, such an honor for me to like get to show them like, oh, this, and because they work with Minecraft in education, they know Roblox, but they see the limitations within there, and they see the possibilities of storytelling, of, creating these worlds to share historic things. I mean, I'm helping them build out like a Hawaiian hub that will talk about different aspects of Hawaiian history and all this kind of stuff, and just using it in the context of, I mean, they have some awesome ideas. Like I'm just like constantly writing down notes, and they're like, "Oh, you did everything." I'm like, "No, everything's coming from them." I think to me, it's just like bringing it out to more people and letting them experiment in with these tools in different ways that that are outside the little bubble, and you realize you kind of get re-energized. You kind of see like, oh, I think that's what's missing. It's like these other perspectives and people building there too, not just like the little bubble that we're in, to re-energize and like have it grow. And that whole idea of that monetization, it's like art and money is always kind of like, this weird kind of tension between like, who am I creating for? Like I just like making shit to just get messy and do stuff and have fun. And I've sold like, I used to sell, but I mean, I still do. I love making art shirts, and I love doing things that people would think is, oh, this is commercial. It's like, no, it's not to me. It's like, to me, it's like the process of fun behind it, and like the process of like creating a fun space for creativity, which is like, that's the feedback I got from the teachers who actually did the thing. The kids loved it. They ran around and they're like, like seeing what worlds they liked and what weird things they picked up on, and like getting those different perspectives, I think is something that I think has been missing in some ways. And I don't know.
Yeah. I love that. No, I think that's it. Like we need more perspectives, and we need, there is kind of a weirdness to the kind of financialization of all of this, that I think it started off on just a bad footing, and now it's evolving past it, I hope. But same thing with like with MOCA, like we're, a lot of it is we're using on-chain things to record stuff. We're using it as a ledger. We're using it as a record of history. We're not worried about it being like, we're not in transactions or selling the history of a room necessarily. Like this is, we're trying to use the tools here and trying to make sense of it. But yeah, no, I had a friend who, she was looking at the metaverse as a way to kind of like conserve like war-torn communities.
Oh, wow.
And that was one of the more rebuilding spaces and using that as an exhibit to preserve memory.
Ooh, I love that.
I would hope that we would see more of that. I think that's a huge, like, education, preservation, using that to help us make sense of things that are happening in the real world too. Like, whether it's a simulation that we're building, or like what you were saying about a movie set, like there's so many things that I feel like we've barely scratched the surface on, but will be very, very powerful use cases.
Yeah, it's just like this crazy creative. I mean, like, I'm like the ultimate dork. I used to teach like, Photoshop, Illustrator, travel the Hawaiian Islands teaching. And like when I went, and like, this is a great, amazing group of women. And like, it's part of the Maui Economic Development Program. The women in tech run these STEM programs throughout all the schools. And like, just, whenever I show these different things and like to see that excitement, it always, that to me is like the accessibility of that for them, and them engaging in these spaces is like what keeps me going, even though sometimes it's hard because they're like, when tech fails or things don't work. But like, it reminded me of like about 5 years ago when I was first in Decentraland. I was staying at my friend who's an art teacher at a middle school. And she was like, this looks really cool, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, this is way like, you're talking like gibberish. And I'm like, but she was like, I was explaining to her, just like that same like high of when you first get into something, of like, and that I still have, but I try to explain it in different ways so people will hopefully listen to me longer than like 2 seconds of like, she's just a crazy crypto girl. I don't even say the C word anymore. I just like art, like, but yeah, like, and she got it. She really was excited by it. And I'm like, oh, I would love to come and do this. And they're like, oh, I would love that. But back to that, what all the restrictions, but like how to create more of these like just fun moments of entry points for people to like know that they can, like you're saying, build in here. They can be part of it. It's not just like a passive consumer, they're active creator.
No, yeah, I love that. I think we need just, we just need less friction. We need less friction for people to get involved. I think the thing that people associate most with the metaverse is the land cost. And that's hopefully eroding. Like, we got to get past that.
Yeah, but then it goes back to that whole monetization thing. Like, how do projects survive long term? It's like, how do I want it to flourish? Like, I love building across metaverses. Like, back in the day, Rizzle and I were in Monoverse, and that's shifted. And we love Hyperfy, and we love Decentraland, and like, how to not make it so they go in here and their first experience it's like a crash. I'm like, that happens. They're like, screw this. It's like, no, that's technology in general. Come on. Like, and that's actually how I start more workshops. I'm like, shit's gonna break, I use more appropriate language for the grade level, but like, that's part of the fun. You're doing something like Rizzle and I, what we used to do is let's break things world, and like them embracing the chaos and being okay with it. And it's
I think the whip is broken. Sorry.
Yeah, the whip is like real good.
The whip is broken more worlds. Yeah.
Yes. I'm just like, I'm thinking about all this. I'm like, the business model, like, sort of exists, right? Like, I'm thinking again about Roblox. I'm like, they're crushing it. Like, allowing people to like do things in their own parcels and having people come through, and they've got their own internal currency, and they scrape transaction fees and have their own marketplace, and like everything that a lot of these metaverse platforms has tried to do before. And obviously they got their own thing, right? So you're not going to out Roblox by like, doing what they do best, but like a shittier version of it. There's so many other knockoff versions of it already. But I'm like, what Untitled is just talking about, and Fractalians and you and I've talked about this kind of shit so many times too, is that like, blockchain and Web3, the Web3 metaverse offers the possibility of things completely different than anything Web 2 or any siloed platform has to offer. And one of those things that is exciting to me, but maybe not other people so much who aren't like history nerds or whatever, but like this preservation of history aspect, I think, becomes more and more important as time goes on. And I'm like, I'm sort of just getting back to trying to answer my own question here. Like, forgive me if I treat this as like a metaverse counseling session. I'm like trying to figure this out, and I'm like, we need to lean into what we've got here, right? I'm like, and maybe in like a more interesting way that so it doesn't seem like a history class. But I'm like, the Web3 metaverse offers like so many interesting things beyond what you can do outside of this, that it just seems like, I don't know, we're not like serving it up properly, or we're not leaning into it enough. And it felt like, the three of us and like the dozens of other people that Untitled was referring to we're all about that shit back in the day. And then it seemed like, speculators came in, but it sort of felt like it wasn't all speculators. It was a lot of other people who are really interested in this stuff too, but they were really just interested in speculating on it. And maybe there really are only dozens and dozens, or maybe just a dozen of people at this moment who are really interested in this. But I'm like, I see the where this heads to, right? It's not going anywhere. And we're just, I think, earlier than I ever really anticipated we were.
I think that's totally it. Yeah, like we're way earlier than we thought.
We're still not even early. We're in the protoplanet phase. The gases are still haven't condensed.
Totally. Like this is still very early on. You can tell by the kind of like diversity of use cases that we've been talking about, and that you mentioned, Fractalians. And I feel like we're close. We need, I feel like we need more creative experimentation with especially the economics around this stuff and the incentives.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of felt a little bit like, hey, you sell land in the real world, let's sell it here too. And like, let's do that. You guys know I beat it to death, but I have a problem with that. I just don't think it's very interesting. But if there was a different way, a more nuanced way of approaching that, of course we need equitable solutions for everyone, for builders, for people, for players, for landowners, whatever it might be. Like, let's just try it a little differently. Let's do different things. I do think, like, you have a generation of kids who are very familiar with, you know, the bucks of their world, and that's a familiar mechanism for them to participate in something. So I feel like we just need, we're so close, we should just try to think a little bit more outside the box and come up with some. I'm going to write about this. I feel like
you should. I would love that.
Some stuff.
Yes, you should write some long form something, blog or post, or I want to share this with all my teachers. Seriously, like, this is gold. Especially the art component, like, there's so many art teachers who, like, they've heard of it. They don't really, you have such depth of, just, again, back to those amazing things you did with vertical crypto art and all the other stuff you've done. Like, I would just love to be like, here's a featured artist who's done all this. Let's dive in and really study what he's really talking about. Let's build things around those ideas. That's what.
Like, what is this guy doing? He's still here. What the heck?
We're all still here. Are they ghosts? The machine? Yeah, I just did an AI replicate. I mean, it's not even me talking.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, we understand the stickiness, and I feel like more people will come to understand it for sure. It's just that's the other thing that you just mentioned, which is the kind of accessibility of information and starting points around this stuff. Crypto is so intimidating. Blockchain stuff, so intimidating. Like, hard to figure out where to start and not get scammed. And I think that is one of the biggest reasons why a lot of this stuff hasn't been able to kind of like really solidify itself yet, is the information is hard. Like, again, it goes back, I'm going to blame Twitter again. Like, it's hard to find stuff if you're starting off new and you don't have an anchor point or a guide to kind of help you get there. So yeah, we need more guides. We need people to onboard the next kind of like wave of folks who are going to help us solve this problem, basically.
100%. Dude, and I think like that this is where the metaverse like comes in and is one of its best use case, or could be one of its best use cases in terms of just onboarding people to crypto in a way that feels not terribly different than playing a video game. You even use the same controls and everything. Like, it's a palatable way to serve up an intro to this kind of thing. But then like you still like obviously are thrown to the wolves to figure it all out, like once you get here and everything. But I feel like Decentraland does a pretty good job of that. They've allowed people to pretty much, any Web 2 rando to be able to bumble their way into this thing. But then it's like, where from there? And I feel like that's when across the board we gotta hit people in the face with like, this is Web3. Like, you may have been able to find your way in here, but we've got like some cool shit to offer that you really can't get anywhere else. And I just come back to like this thing when once I stumbled upon NFT, NFTs were sort of brought to my attention, half a dozen years ago or whatever. And the light bulb just went on. I was just like, I spent so much time playing video games as a kid. I would love to just own that fucking sword from Zelda or whatever. Just even if I did nothing with it or couldn't really like bring it anywhere or like whatever, like some sort of like, accumulation of all the time and energy I spent grinding on, goofy video games as a kid. I'm like, I want that. And I feel like that's a very easy thing for people to understand about what we're doing in general. And then you run the gamut all the way to where you got rooms and you're just like, okay, you're thinking about that sword. How about an entire museum that you can populate with the art that you've accumulated in your, quests, across all this stuff. And it all just feels like a natural progression of all this stuff. We just got to get it there, man. And dude, and appreciate you doing the hard work like early on, man. This is a project, like we were saying at the beginning here, like way ahead of its time. What does minting it out like mean specifically? Like, is this just sort of like what it is now, or is there like a next phase of it, or is like now it's tied up in the way that y'all wanted it to be?
Yeah, so it is. I mean, it's officially tied up in the sense that there were a certain amount of rooms that could be minted, and now that's it. Here they are. So there we have, like, I should say, in addition to myself, obviously I did a lot of rooms. I minted 167 of them out of the 191. But there are rooms from Manuel Mensa, from Walt the Artist, from Waragwag, from Decentralized. I think you guys know Decentralized, awesome architect, and Polygonal Mind.
Oh, yeah.
So Toxam and
I love
they
them.
mentioned a few.
Yeah.
And like, so now the collection's complete. There's not going to be any more minted, but now my job is to put them to work, like find use cases for them, build out galleries that are fun to explore. And we're going to do Decentraland. Obviously, like, I should say, putting these in world was a lot easier than the last time I was using Decentraland. Like, they've done a really tremendous job with the builder, and also the app looks great. Like, it looks really good. And the time, I should say, in this world is set to 4:20 in the afternoon, which is, nice that you could set the time in world. Very cool. And yeah, so now, the next phase, the next era is really building use cases around these and letting them travel, letting them explore all the worlds that they can get their hands on.
I love that. I have one quick thing before we go. Yes. If anyone in the audience, I just pasted the form. So we do weekly giveaways. If you guys want to fill out the form, we just need your Twitter handle. So then whoever wins, I can DM, and your Decentraland name and Discord handle. So yeah, that's it. Go for it. Sorry. I had one thing. I think you mentioned before your flower project, the one that you were building out. I don't know if you have time to share about that a little bit.
Oh, of course. The flower. So I have this project. It's actually pinned on my Twitter page. If you guys
cool. I'll share
check out my Twitter. But it's basically a similar process in terms of generating these rooms. I have a show going on right now in Lisbon, Portugal, at the Eterno Gallery. Very, very cool project with a bunch of other artists and architects. And the premise of that show is around city edges. So thinking about the edges of cities, but also the future of cities and what it means. Of course, I was very much like a metaverse contingent of that question. And for anyone who's been to Lisbon, they just have these really beautiful, beautiful place for architecture, for culture, for food. They have these tiles called azulejos that are really beautiful and historic, very much a signature of the city. I just really wanted to reimagine these tiles as architecture, like literally, like take the designs within the tiles and put them through this kind of feedback loop, similar to how I did rooms, and kind of give the machine the prompt of, okay, take this 2D tile and build it into like an immersive architecture. So there's this flower that I generated off of it, and that's on display now at Eterno. But it's a like virtual gallery in a way, just much like these rooms that you can kind of like hop into and explore. So I'll be hiding a flower actually in this build somewhere that I won't tell anyone. But
cool.
You guys.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
I'm looking at it now.
They're beautiful.
Thank you. But yeah, I feel like my art and my architecture have kind of bounced in between the two, but I really feel like it's sort of like this weird feedback loop of collaging, 2D things that are very modular, and then now like these virtual things that are AI infused or imagined, that kind of take those 2D things, make them into 3D, then go back. And it's a conversation, like we were saying before, like this new tech really demands a full conversation and not just like a command. I think that's sort of where my work is evolving into.
Yeah, I love the pictures of the actual gallery shot. So that's actually up in a gallery for until January 31st. Is that, am I reading it right? Or that's the minting is only open then?
Yes, no, that's the show is open until the 31st. So if you're in Lisbon, definitely check out the Eterno Gallery. There's some amazing works on display. And yeah, it was they have an awesome show of it. And they put some of my collages really on a big screen, and it looks awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it looks beautiful. Yeah, I dove down that when you shared that. I love all the different shapes. I mean, for me, I love organic shapes. I live in New Mexico, where it's the land of enchantment for a reason. There's so many crazy psychedelic wild places full of just like have you ever been to New Mexico and explored?
I love New Mexico. I have been there a couple times and have some friends down there.
Oh, cool.
And it's just beautiful. What a beautiful place. It's so cool. I am envious of the kind of like, I mean, the canyons, the history, the kind of like, what are they called? Petroglyphs? No, what's the? Or like hieroglyphics. Basically, like just the stories of everything that's all the civilizations that have been there. Like incredible.
Yeah, you'd love. Well, I live on the reservation. My boyfriend's native, so there's all over where I live. It's everywhere, and there's so much stuff that's in New Mexico that's not even open to the public. I've seen some wild things. Have you ever made it out to Chaco Canyon or to the Bisty Badlands?
I have. I was just Googling, like, is Chaco Canyon in New Mexico?
Yeah, totally. It is. You have been there, or no?
I have been to Chaco.
Okay,
Canyon.
awesome.
So cool. Like what a wild place. Like so interesting. I actually did an architecture project on Chaco Canyon.
Oh,
while I
awesome.
was in school. Just because it's like such it's a city. Like it's,
oh yeah.
And didn't they find like Quetzal feathers there at one
point? They found also, well, they used to trade. They actually have I actually did a bunch of stuff. My professor was an archaeoastronomer, so he wrote a bunch of books about the archaeoastronomy there. And this one lady, I traveled in India with him, and this other lady, her research was on the roads that emanate from places like Chaco, all through like massive roads wide enough, to fit, airplane could land, that go all the way to Central America. It's insane. And all of them have been covered up because of all the cities and things. But they were trading with everyone. Everyone thinks oh yeah, there's no. They traded with everyone in South America. They had huge trade networks back in the day that were massive. But but I think you would freaking love the Bisty Badlands. It's one of my favorite places in the world. It is insane there. If your art reminds me of the shapes you see there. Have you heard of that place?
I am Googling it now. I've never seen this. This is so wild.
It's insane too. It's I've been there 6 times, and each time I've seen 0.001%. It's a Alice in Wonderland on DMT Alice. It's insane. You go there, and you're just what the hell is this place? And it just, you see, I mean, it's full of petrified trees. They find all sorts of dinosaur things. It's just this ancient, massive maze of madness, that just goes on and on and on and on and on.
They look like these AI they look like these rooms.
I know, that's why I was oh, you have to go. And you it's it's the only thing I have to say, we went in the winter. You have to be careful because basically the whole thing is eroding. It used to be a marshland, and everything becomes malleable mush, and you could literally get stuck there. We were literally stuck with our feet, we were embedded in the fucking place. We're holy shit, what is this? Because I've only been there in the summer, and it's all this popcorn, and the texture, you will freak out. You have to go and report back to us. Be it's insane. And yeah. But side note, I had to share that. If you ever get a chance, you'll freak out. It's spectacular. The organic shapes that you create always remind me of things I love exploring different nature, and just for those, the shapes of things, the sacred geometry of things.
Yeah, there's an efficiency in the kind of erosion and
totally.
Structures of these things that I think AI is is discovering too. With these meshed 3D objects, it's the same thing. It's kind of a weird efficiency of forming a shape.
Yep.
Are these kind of like curves and interesting erosion, like, I mean, is it like Voronoi patterns I keep coming back to with that, which are like very visible throughout, desert ecosystems and everything. And there's kind of a strange efficiency to some of these shapes that just like show up. Very cool.
Yeah, I go on like Google Earth and like explore like that place with it, and I love seeing the micro and the macro. It's all the same fractal pattern, It's my name Fractility. It's my obsession with that.
Yeah, hey, there you go. That is so cool. Oh man, I forgot. I haven't looked at Chaco Canyon in a long time. I need to go back there.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Oh, I think Rizzle had a jump. Uh-oh. Was he messaging
yeah.
us the whole time going, people, shut up.
He's like, stop talking.
Oh yeah, he has to go. His kids arrive. But this has been amazing. I can't wait to see. This is just part 1, right? And if you guys are here, be sure to fill out the form for our giveaway. I should have mentioned this earlier. Each time I try to add them to the list, but yeah, I know your kids are there, so I figured I'm like, it's all good. Thank you so much for joining us, and I can't wait to see what else you add. I'll definitely be running around to look for the flower, and I'll save up some money because I want to get one of these flowers. They're awesome. I love them.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Yeah, they're for sale. If anyone wants an edition, there's a 3D print of them. And, and of course, if anyone has any questions about rooms or anything MOCA related, give me a shout.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter. I'm on Discord. Or catch me in DCL and corner me as I'm hanging art on the walls.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll share all your info when I do like a recap post and a video. It's being streamed right now on Twitter and YouTube, and then I tend to like do the stream and then I'll probably repost the video too in like a more formal edited kind of manner. But yeah, I'll share all these links. But yeah, thank you. And I'm gonna go run around the build and get some shots in there, some more shots. But yeah, thank you so much, and so stoked. Yeah, and
thank you both so much. This has been great.
And I hope everyone here had a great time. This is one of my, me and Rizzle were like, hell yeah, Untitled. We get to be students and sit back and enjoy.
Oh, no. I'm a student of YouTube. YouTube are the masters of the metaverse.
Whatever.
I'm just, grateful to chat with you all. It's just, it's so fun to discuss. And I feel like, we're at an exciting time and grateful for these moments to like really sit and talk about where it's headed. Awesome.
And you definitely have to do like start a blog, and I want to read up all, and I'll look for I'm going to rewatch those vertical crypto art videos and put some videos up. I want to follow and watch them, and I'll just sit back and learn. Awesome. Well, amazing. I love it. Thanks again. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And then I think in about a month or so, when do you think we're going to rejoin, or 2 months, or what's your time frame, you think? Yeah, let's do like first week of January or something like that. We can hop back in and see some art on the walls, and that'd be great. A little more exploring. It'll be more built out for sure. Awesome. Can't wait. And cool. Well, thanks again. And everyone be sure to fill out the form, and catch you guys next week. We'll have I think we're going to have Roostan on, so that should be fun. Exploring his build. Have you checked out his builds within DCL? I love his builds though. They're always so cool. They're so good. Oh yeah, check it out. His haunted house one that we went last week. Holy shit, masterful. You love it. It's like, are you kidding me? This isn't Decentraland. How the hell did you do this? Yeah, he's so detailed. His stuff is great. So interesting. Yeah, I think that's a good place to be like, hey, I can hide a flower here. That's the one thing I wish in DCL, you can leave artifacts hidden that only certain people could access. Wouldn't that be cool? You could like just, there needs to be possible one day, like a crazy mad scavenger hunt of like, kind of like those people do in real life, how they have those crazy, like they pretend they hide a chest and then everyone chases for it. And later on you realize he was just a millionaire having fun with everybody, right? No real chest. Yeah, no. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Yeah, no. We need more like treasure hunts and stuff like that. Definitely. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you, Untitled, again, and have a wonderful rest of your day. And can't wait for the next session. And yeah, wherever the conversation leads, that's the fun part.
So yeah, thank you so much again.
Cheers. Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.